And welcome to Matto'S Box Mania, How to Make a Board Game Box, episode 7. I hope so. This I'm calling How to Prepare Your Box Ready for Covering. So this is where we got to last time. I done a video where I made the lid, and so that's not relevant for this. It'll be number 6B or something. Have a look at that. Well, or not. It's really boring, but because I'm just doing it, I'm not talking. I'm just making the lid as quick as I can. And why am I even saying this? It's just stupid. This is where we got at the bottom. Now this has been overnight. Had quite a long time to dry. It doesn't need this long to dry. You know, an hour or two will be enough usually. Now, so this tape we put on here, we're going to take this off first. Now, got to do my usual checks. Okay, just about seeing that. So I'm going to take this off now. I'm going to put my glasses on just because why not? Now, this taking these off now is going to cause a bit of damage. It doesn't matter because you're going to sand it down and repair it. But you're going to get little flaky bits, and like here you see little bits coming off. Don't worry about it. And when you're taking this tape off, don't take it off this way. You take it off this way. You take it off so you're not going to lift that edge there. If you take it off this way, you're going to pull up and lift off layers of that edge. So you've got to take it off that way. Do you see? If I took it off this way, I might lift up that edge like I'm doing there. Always take it off down towards the edge. Now, it's going to be you boring watching me doing this. It's going to take me 5 minutes to take all this tape off, because you want to kind of do it carefully, and I've got like 25 bits of tape to take off. It doesn't take long, but it's a bit boring. And that last video I made, I was talking about where I was making the lid. I made such bad error in that. Fundamental error. You know, don't be put off by any of this box making stuff that it takes so long. It doesn't take that long. You know, you've been watching these, you know, and I've spent hours talking about these and doing them. But at the end of the day, you could probably make this, if you go for it, in half an hour, 45 minutes. You know, I mean, it's just, yeah, sure, that's ages, but, you know, everything takes ages, doesn't it? You spend as long as that cooking dinner every day. You know, you just got to, when you find the time to do box making, you just do it in stages, don't you? You just think, oh, I'll just whip up the box and it'll take me 45 minutes, half an hour. Put some music on, bang it up, and then another night you think, right, I'll make the lid, 45 minutes, and then another night you think, right, I'm going to cover them, and then another night you think, right, do this, do that. Probably take a few sessions, but you know, you could do it all in one session, but it's a lot to do in one session, because even once we've made this box, we've still got to do all the insert bits, and that takes ages doing the insert bits, and you've got to spray, you know, we still got to cover this in brown paper, spray paint it. Well, we cover it first, then we do the insert, then we spray paint it, and then we got to cut up the old box and put that on the lid. There's a lot to do in these boxes, an awful lot to do, and that's why I'm mad. Why do I do it? Why do I even do it? Because it's, you know, it's just a hobby, innit? And you know, it doesn't have to be, you don't have to, you know, make it worthwhile or whatever. I enjoy it. If you enjoy it, get satisfaction out of it, that's enough. That's the reason to do it. Trying to get in there. So now quite often these corner ones get a bit messy. Now that's partly why when you put this tape, when you're putting this tape on, like I did in the last video, you squeeze the bits together and all the glue squidges out. You want to wipe off some of that glue, because otherwise you're kind of gluing this tape onto the, look at that, you see there's lots of flappy bits there. You end up gluing the tape onto the grey board. And, you know, I mean, it seems a bit crazy to spend all that time getting these bits of tape, putting them on, taking them off. There's probably a better solution for doing that. I haven't found it. I haven't looked for it really. I just do this. I suppose if I looked and could find a better way of getting all them joints tight and holding them, you know, I suppose you could get some clamps, you know, carpentry clamps. I suppose there's probably a lot of carpentry tools that could be used that I haven't got, that I'm not even aware exist. I'm not a carpenter. And there's probably some other way to do it, and it's probably better than doing this and save you a bit of time, save you trashing these boxes. So I've taken that off. Now, it looks a bit messy really. There's all these dead bits and scuzzy bits, and it's all, you know, it's not the best box I've ever made. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to sand all of these round, and I'm going to sand all of these round, and I'm going to sand all of these round and all of these round. I'm going to use the sandpaper that I talked about in the tools video, silicon carbide finishing paper. I think my hardware shop calls it flower paper, I don't know what it's called. This is a 180 grit. Really I want a coarser one, but I find the sandpaper for, you know, basic wooden sandpaper kind of just kills it all. Now, I'm not quite sure how good this is going to be to watch. It's going to be really boring to watch. Let's just make sure that's in the video. And this is really messy. This gets really dusty and really messy. So if you're worried about dust everywhere, then you wear a mask. Maybe I don't bother wearing a mask. Maybe I should. Get dusty, you're going to get dust. Well, I've got carpet here, it's all going to get dusty. It's going to make a right old mess, a real mess. So I've got a board, a little block, just a bit of wood. Find something. You can buy little sanding blocks, but if you do buy a sanding block, get a cork one or something. Don't get a squidgy one. You don't want it squidgy. You want it to be solid to some degree. I'll put this on the edge, and it's going to be noisy. This might not be able to hear me talking. So I'm going to go up and down on this about 15 times. And then I'm going to come in here and come flat. And I'm not really worrying about being particularly accurate really, just going by feel. That'll probably be enough there for now. I'll do this side. And you've got to think, when you're standing like this, because you're going up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, quite often the middle gets a little bit sanded a little bit more, so you just work on the edges a little bit, and then up and down, and try and bend it round. And, you know, right, I'm pulling bits off this, and that's what's caused because of it's got glued up, and it's because of the masking tape. You just sand that over. I'll get my brush. I know that I should wear a mask. I really should. You should wear a mask. because this stuff isn't particularly nice. It's all full of glue. It's just sort of paper, pulp and glue. Inhaling that can't be good for you. But you know, I work in stone, you know, and quite often I'm sanding down bits of stones with angle grinders and stuff. I wear a mask for that. But this, compared to what I'm doing in my job, is nothing. Oh no, I didn't take off that. A couple of bits of more. There's always something to forget, isn't there? Took off a big chunk there. I'm working this right on the edge of the table so I can get down to it. And you can see how quickly it uses that sandpaper. I mean, this piece is, it's not finished, but it's certainly used quite a lot of it. Oh, now I'll probably turn this around now and use this bit on the edges. That's why I want a coarser grade, you see, because I'm trying to do too much work with too fine a grade, but I can't get it in my local shop, and then I forget. So I need to make an effort to get it, and haven't done it yet. Right, so that'll probably do for that. I'll give this a little work over here. Now I can already feel with this box that it's got problems, and I don't really know why. I'm hoping that as I do a few more stages it will work itself out, but this is slightly warped like this, only ever slightly. When we put the brown paper on it, it's going to warp again, but I can never, I'm never quite sure how it warps, which way it all warps and that. We'll see, but that has got a bow in it and I don't like that. Are we still in view now? Right. So now I do all these ones. Now, one reason I do this, well, there's two reasons I'm doing this. One is when the edges are like that and the edges get picked off, the layers can get picked off very easily. Did that a few times. The other one is if I didn't do this, when you put the lid on, it's going to be very tight. It's tight anyway, tight enough as it is. But if these corners were going right into the other corners, it'd be really tight. So this actually, in theory, will improve the action of the lid. Getting on, look, there's a big chunk coming off there. I don't worry about that. I'll just sand it over. I've done that now. I'll just gently sort of work that corner in. I'm not being fussy here, just working it out a bit. And again, this is the same thing with this. Might be taking the masking tape off. If I sand it up this way, I might pick up those things. So I always try and get that initial sand by pulling it down. Do you see? Don't know if that makes sense. Now this is really boring to watch, I know, but get it, maybe you like my company. I like to think that these videos are, you know, because they're not just, you know, real practicality videos. Right, that's gone already. I'm going to do enough of it. You can go through this stuff and it ain't that cheap. Second sheet already. But I'd sooner use a new sheet than work away trying to do stuff with sandpaper that's half used and it's lost its grit. Now this is one reason why I love grey board. Just this ability to sand it off. And it's, you know, it's very, I find it very practical. Let's do it. You see, get it now. I mean, you know, this does all take time. Have I done that corner? Surely I haven't done that corner. Done that corner. Why is it such a mess? Nah, it's just been picking up all the guns from here. So, take off the initial squareness and then work it like this. Look at that, massive chunks, massive layers coming off. That's the masking tape's done that. And masking tape's pulled it off. And especially because glue's got in it. Glue, it gets really soggy with the glue and tends to come off. You know, I might try and find a neater way to do all that gluing. I thought of one just before I did this video of, you know, like when I'm putting the glue on the joints in that gluing video. I thought I should use a little bottle for that, like a washing up bottle, squeezy bottle. Be a lot tidier, a lot quicker. Oh, look, I hate when I do that, trashing it, when you go off the end and... One more, and then I've got to do the tops. Quite a lot of sanding, really. Take that off. Yes, and what this also does, doing this, is you're getting everything down to the same levels. Any bits that are sticking out, like, you know, if you had a bit sticking out, you've got a bit done a bit of dodgy measuring, which happens all the time, or something doesn't quite fit. This is your chance to work it out and sand it down flat. There's a bit coming off there, look, see that? So you can pull all that off. I'm not worrying about it, look, loads is coming off. Don't worry about it, doesn't matter. Now, you know, this all needs a bit. In the best box I've ever made, because I'm demonstrating it. Now, I can, you know, you can see how this is all bowing out. I could probably get rid of some of that when I put the insert bits in. So now, two things here. Oh, first of all, I'll do the outside. The outside's easy. Now this helps to get the lid on. You know, if these were square, when you put the lid on, you're going to be picking these edges out all the time. Even though it's covered in paper. You know, I'm going to cover this all in brown paper. Now, one thing I should have done, and one thing I do, but I always forget, is when I make the wall, and I glue it together, I would sand the inside, like this. Before I glue it on, because sanding the inside afterwards is a pain. I don't know if you can see. You know, I mean, you're not going to be able to really see this, but when I sand that, is a pain. It's not that bad, but it's really easy if you do it beforehand, and you should do it beforehand. I forgot, and there's a problem with making these videos. If I forget how to do something, I can't just do it again because it's too late. I've glued it into this. And I'm amazed that I haven't made more mistakes in the videos that I've been making. I've forgotten more things. Or maybe I haven't even noticed the things I've forgotten, which is more likely. When I look back over and think, oh God, why didn't I do that? I'll give the top a little bit there. And do that, that's nice. Yeah, there's a definite bow in there. Don't like that. that's what you get. These bows, you get them on the bigger boxes. Wouldn't bow so much on the smaller boxes. I'm not really sure what the answer is. I did think about trying to make the bigger boxes triple thickness, but then, Jesus man, what's the point in that? That's overkill. So this is really boring to watch. You know, really, I should just do it once, pause the video, and you know, and then do it all and say, there you go, I've done it. But got it. I might think of something interesting to say while I'm doing this that matters. So we just stick with it. I'm almost there. 2 more. You know, these things don't take too long, but by the time you've added it all up, it all does take a long time. You know, you've got to be thinking a few hours to make a box. Ugh. Look, that bit isn't finished. I could use those, but I'm going to chuck it away. Get another bit. So I might use the quid's worth of sandpaper. Sand in this box. Not quite. You know, with any of these things, if you're buying stuff, you're buying sandpaper, or you're buying the grey board, or buying materials, try and buy it in bulk. If you go to a hardware shop, they'll, you know, just buy a sheet of sandpaper. They're going to rip you, well, they're not ripping you off it. You know, they'll sell you one sheet of sandpaper, £2. You know, if you buy 10 of them, or 20 of them, get them at 50 cents. I think, anyway, I could be talking rubbish, but I would always try and buy a little bit of bulk and try and get a discount. Same with anything, isn't it? Anything's like that when you buy stuff. If you buy more of it, you get it cheap. Card sleeves. I wish I could find a way to get a ton of card sleeves for cheap. Good card sleeves. They get expensive. You know, I'd love to buy 5,000 card sleeves, but not at the price that you're paying at a pack of 50, and times in that by 100. I've got a very friendly local game store owner. He does me deals. He's a really nice guy. You get deals out of them. So if you're in Ireland and watching this, which no one in Ireland's going to watch this, shop's Happy Go Lucky in Clonakilty. Brilliant. He's a really nice guy. Very approachable. He's done me loads of favours. Thinks I'm mad doing this. Cutting up a really nice box to make a crappy one. Thinks I'm an idiot. Don't blame me. Right, that's that done. That took quite a long time, didn't it? Yeah. I ain't got enough room in it. You see, this isn't my place. This is my dad's house because I'm staying here during the pandemic, and it's not as sorted as it is at home. But yeah, dust everywhere. So I've done that. Now this is starting to look quite nice. Now I want to get all that dust off. Best I can. Should have a mask. I mean, but yeah, sure, I should have a mask. But Jesus, you know, we can get too much with, you know, you go to all these things, wear a mask, try and protect yourself all the time, and then you get run over by a bus. I suppose if you try and protect yourself all the time, you're giving yourself the best odds, but, you know, don't know, it's weird. I smoked cigarettes for 25 years. So what's the This ain't going to do, it's nothing compared to that. Right, let's have a look at this on the camera. This is starting to look quite nice now. So, you know, this is real close up, so you're seeing all the defects. That's all sounded off. Let's have a quick feel with the... This is the lid that I made in my disaster video. The one before this. It's an absolute disaster. You know, it was completely ridiculous what I did on that video. So we're getting there. Now, what I do now is I use masking tape, and I masking tape all these joints, all the corners and all down there, to try and strengthen it. Because I'll put that on, and if I just have masking tape, in time the masking tape comes off, the glue dries into horrible stuff and it all comes off. But then I cover the box in brown paper with the PVA glue, and that's going to stay like that in there forever. That ain't never coming off. So I've thought about doing that. Well, I do that, but I've thought about not doing it, because I put masking tape on here. I'm adding a thickness of masking tape to that, and then I put masking tape all around here. So in these little spots there's 2 thicknesses of masking tape, and then I cover it in paper. So that's 3 bits of paper. So that's 2 masking tape and a thickness of paper, and then 1 bit of paper comes around here, which you'll see when you cover it. So on each side you're dealing with 2 bit thicknesses of masking tape and 2 thicknesses of paper on there, and the same there. So over the whole width you're dealing with 4 thicknesses of masking tape and 4 thicknesses of paper. Now that's really munching up my tolerance on the box, and that's one reason why they get so tight. But usually, you know, I do that, and when I do it in the paper, and I've done this in the lid in the paper, they fit really beautifully. And it's when I paint it and I put the paint on, and the paint has a lot of thickness, that's when I start getting my problems. So for this box, because it's how I've always done it, I'm going to tape it. But I might not tape it in the future. I might just cover it from here. But I'm going to tape it. So I'll put that on like that. Can you see that? Yep. I'm getting better at things not being outshot as I get more experience. And then I cut that with a knife, because then it gets a nice, well, sort of a nice. And again, I'm doing this where, you know, these are overlapped like that with that side overlapping this, so I'll always tape it around that way. If you understand what I mean. Maybe not. I didn't explain that very well. But getting worried these videos can't take too long. I mean, there's probably 4 or 5 hours worth of videos watching to get to this point, and there's still probably another 4 or 5 to watch. It's crazy, isn't it? I'm going to do this one this way because I like my nice cut to go at the top. Now, I have thought, but I never got it together. But these are all things that I might try, and I'm going to do updates on my channel as I get new things and new ideas. But I have thought of instead of using masking tape, because you know masking tape's not that strong, is it? I'd thought about using bookbinding tape, or you know the kind of tape that they use on the game boards to when you're opening and closing it to strengthen it. Thought about putting them on that, made the boxes last forever. So I thought about doing that. But that tape's probably quite thick. That will have more thickness, and the thickness is what, you know, I'm trying to avoid thickness because of I'm having the difficulty with the boxes. But I think the biggest problem with my boxes is the paint. Right, so I've done those corners, and now I'm going to do this length. So I do that now. You kind of want to avoid, if you can, it's very easy to get a wrinkle in this tape here. It's really annoying if you get wrinkles. So again, I'll pull that down, I'll kind of work from the middle out. Yeah, really, you know, sometimes I get wrinkles in these and it annoys me. Again, if you get a wrinkle in it, more thickness. I'm trying to get rid of the thickness. I don't want to eat into my tolerance. It's the thing I'm finding the hardest is to get that tolerance to work out what's the right distance between the lid and the box. I think this one's going to be a problem because I've made errors in this box. When you make errors in boxes, that's when it gets harder. But we'll see. Maybe not. Maybe it'll be perfect. Maybe it'll be best box ever made. Doubt it. Yeah, coming to the end of this video now. It's a much shorter one. So after this, the next stage is going to be, well, I won't even talk about that. I'll wait till the next video. Oh, see, look at that. Right at the end, I've got a little crease in it. Right, that's all ready. Starting to look quite nice. So what I'll do now, I'll finish the video and I'll do the same with what I've done there with the lid while I've got all the making all the mess. So that's it. That's a quick video. It's alright, isn't it? So good boy. I'll see you in the next video. So, know what I mean?